Hello, my name is Jonathan Neal, and today I'll be presenting my company Atmosphere Brewing that I've been working on. Atmosphere Brewing Company is looking to branch off differently from the normal way brewing companies enter the market. Atmosphere Brewing would be like a location where patrons can enjoy new varieties of beer on an ongoing basis. Something that really hasn't been seen before, something that's a little bit different. Typical beer companies, they have the same beer that they are producing year-round. They'll have the seasonal ones that they break out throughout the year, but nothing has been seen quite what Atmosphere Brewing is developing. Atmosphere Brewing's idea is to find local talent that enjoys brewing their own beer and would love to make large batches of beer for the general public to try. These local brewers do not have the resources to purchase all of the equipment needed to make these large batches, but that's where Atmosphere comes into play. So that's where we come and we supply the equipment and we assist in the process, and also we assist helping sell their product. So the idea is, these local brewers are going to be partnering with us. We have the equipment, we'll help them get the ingredients that they need to produce the beers that they want to produce. And then we would assist them on making sure that they're brewing the beer that they want to produce and helping them get a clientele of customers and helping sell that beer. So Atmosphere's brewing mission statement is to create a market for brewers who want to share their brewing knowledge and create products that the general public could enjoy. Also, a new experience for the consumer to try something that cannot be found anywhere else. And a business that can promote their brewing partners and help them market them to create financial success for both the brewers and the company alike. The Atmosphere vision statement is to create a competitive and collaborative work environment through the partners of brewers. So the customer and industry segmentation and the craft beer market is improving yearly and shows signs of continual improvement. The amount of beer drinkers that prefer craft beer over major beers products have increased from 2015's 35% to the new figure of 2018 of 40% of beer drinkers enjoy the craft beer. The age of the craft beer drinkers is well mixed and shows that people of all ages enjoy craft beer. The highest is 35 to 44 years of age. 52% of those enjoy craft beer over the traditional major brewing companies such as Coors Light, Bud Light. And the lowest is 38% for people of the age group of 55 to 64. In terms of beer drinkers grouped by age, craft beer drinkers are in every class. The lowest we were able to find in our study is 30% for lower incomes, which is $50,000 or less, and highest at 51% for drinkers in the income of $75,000 to $91,000 a year. The industry in which Atmosphere Brewing would be a part of would be classified as the NAICS number of 312120. Which consists of primary engagement in brewing beers, ales, lagers, malt liquors, and non-alcoholic beer. The leading brand in this category for 2019 was actually Blue Moon, with sales of $326.92 million in sales, followed by Sierra Nevada with $259.92 million in sales for that same year. The corporate structure that we're planning on developing for Atmosphere Brewing would operate as a limited liability company, or an LLC. Since the business of selling alcohol is more logical to operate as an LLC to limit the liability of the company's actions of the company. As in a sole proprietorship and a partnership, the liability of the company's actions or of the employees can cause liability to the owners of the company. So in the case that the server overserves a patron and that patron gets injured, the company would only be liable and not the owners on a financial aspect. The corporate structure will have too many shareholders, and the company could be controlled by the shareholders, and the company may not be able to accomplish all the things it set out to conquer. As for social media advertising, Atmosphere Brewing believes in the possible return on investment for a social media manager. The company vision is to promote local brewers that are brewing with us and help create a following for these local artists. The social media play a big part in our success, as we want the brewers that we partner with to be known brewers in the area. By creating a following, our brewers will have fans that can participate in suggesting the next craft that they will be developing. So we really want to look for our followers of these brewers who really say, hey, you know what? Why don't you try making this kind of ale with this different types of hops? And we really want to see what you're kind of making out of that. And that's just kind of what we're really looking for. Our brewers' fan base will create an excitement when we have these new launches of beers. We also envision our brewers to collaborate with other partner brewers to create a unique craft that they both have their hands in and lead to followers to start following the partner brewer. So this idea is making sure that we're helping our brewers, we're helping them collaborate, we're helping them get more of a fan base. So we have one brewer that has a very successful fan base, and another one who completely brews different types of beer, who has another successful fan base. Trying to get those to intermingling and really get both fan bases kind of like get in the middle and try to share their ideas and create better fan bases on that aspect. For the core competencies of Atmosphere Brewing, Atmosphere Brewing is unique in the way that we will not be a typical brewery that has a staple beer and a yearly rotation of craft beer. Instead, we create new beers and we improve from the last to the next. It's just going to be a constant of new beers rotating through our facility. We want different types of beer to bring in different kinds of customers, and we really want these beers to really create a new demand for different types of beer within our community and have our patrons try something they've never tried before but willing to branch out and try some of our new stuff. In a normal brewery, they typically only have one brewmaster that oversees all production of the beer. But with Atmosphere Brewing, we will have multiple brewmasters that specialize in whatever they want to try. This is a new line of industry, and it's part of a blue ocean strategy. It's something that's not offered anywhere else. A lot of breweries, they have the same brewmasters, they're the same workers. They don't really try to branch out too much within whatever their norm is for their company. But Atmosphere Brewing is different, and it's going to create a different line of beer and different consumers. This all allows Atmosphere Brewing to fill a demand for the consumer of trying new crafts on a regular basis. Atmosphere Brewing would be able to purchase a wide variety of grains used for brewing beer. We would have the adequate supplies needed for the brewers to branch out and try something that they're not very familiar with. And this is just good in developing the brewers further, giving them something that they haven't really tried yet, but they can dabble with and experiment with, and they really find out they like using that ingredient. We're basically molding the brewers to be better. We're supplying these ingredients. We really help these brewers branch out and become better brewers. Because of the number of brewers and suppliers we have the advantage of being able to have a contract with our suppliers, and we'll be looking for the next best ingredient and be able to have larger orders that will have the suppliers prioritize us. We will be able to have larger orders that would have the suppliers prioritize us over our competitors. Atmosphere Brewing has the advantage of not being easy to copy. If a brewery would like to try to copy our strategy, they would have to change their whole structure and take a large risk in repositioning employees, or have to start from scratch to be able to compete against Atmosphere Brewing. As with any business, there's some initial costs before you can start making money, and this is the startup cost. It is said in Proverbs 22:7, "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender." Atmosphere Brewing will be required to borrow money in order to start that endeavor that has been laid out. Atmosphere first year expenses are seen on the left, with the administrative costs, which is permits, with the buildings cost, between leasing the buildings, the yearly CAM expenses, along with the equipment that would be necessarily needed, such as the brewing equipment, the canning equipment, and also furnishings and other things needed and supplies. So the furnishings would include the dishwasher, other supplies, furniture, and then the brewing supplies and ingredients and the glassware that would be necessary to operate the business. With the permits needed, the building, supplies, and equipment, the cost is roughly about $205,000 for the first year for the startup. Atmosphere Brewing would have monthly expenses that include the staffing, electricity, water, and sewage, and these monthly expenses would be typically around $60,000 a month. As for the potential profits for Atmosphere Brewing, if sold evenly per barrel, for every 2 barrels produced and sold, it would be a profit of $1,812 before other expenses. And that's with being 2 barrels produced, having 1 barrel be sold as draft, and the other barrel sold as 6-pack, 16-ounce cans. Atmosphere Brewing will have a gross margin of about 75%, and can pay off all the initial debt within the first year. To accomplish that, Atmosphere Brewing would just need to produce and sell 998 barrels of beer in the first year. So overall, Atmosphere Brewing is a unique business idea that was started its ventures in Riverside, California. The company would take part of the craft brewing industry, where the company would have local brewers come and use the company's brewing equipment and make their own different types of craft beer. These brewers would be encouraged to promote what they are brewing to community people who want to try what they brew next. The industry has seen a continual increase in popularity amongst the recent years, and has become more prevalent that the normal beer drinkers have become no longer brand loyal and reach out to try a new craft. The company will have an initial startup of just under $205,000, which includes the cost of permits needed to operate the business, the cost of the facility being used, and the cost of the equipment and supplies needed to start the brewing beers. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. God will lead us in our endeavors of a successful company. We have created the plans, and God will lead us to our success. Cheers.